At least 6 people are in custody following a search warrant in Rock County. We'll tell you what we know. And a plane full of American citizens traveling from China is now being coronavirus latest.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at noon.
Good evening, or good afternoon, rather. We are following breaking news this afternoon. 2 people were injured following a shooting this morning on Madison's Far East Side. Madeline O'Neill has the very latest.
Keely, we're at La Follette right now, which was on what's called a lockout for about a half hour, just lifted before 11 o'clock. It wasn't the only school on lockout. La Follette, along with East High School, Nuestro Mundo, and Sinnott Middle School were on lockout status. Again, that happens after there's a perceived threat outside of a school. Now, school officials have confirmed it is in connection with a shooting we're following that happened earlier this morning about 7 o'clock in a Madison East Side neighborhood on North Lawn Avenue and Doll Street. Police tell us they believe 2 people were injured, and it involved 2 vehicles. Initial information shows one person was shooting at another in the other vehicle. Now, we also are learning school officials decided that because some students and a parent were involved in that shooting, they wanted to go on this lockout. Again, as a precautionary measure, they tell us there is no current threat, and it's business as usual here at La Follette and those other schools I mentioned.
All right, Maddie, thank you for tracking that all. We appreciate it. At least 6 people are in police custody in Rock County as part of an investigation by Wisconsin's Division of Criminal Investigation. Beloit police say the people were all inside a house along the 900 block of Vine Street in Beloit this morning. Officials say this investigation started over a year ago, and they executed a search warrant with multiple agencies.
It just shows the teamwork that we have together, and we were able to come up with a plan less than 24 hours to execute this search warrant. Everybody was involved. People put in a lot of hard work throughout the last 24 hours to make this a successful operation.
Officials say the community is not in danger. Charges are pending, but the Beloit Police Department could not specify what those charges would be. Well, let's switch gears now to Chris Reese. Chris, tell me something good with the weather.
Hey, I have some good news, but I'm going to make you wait till the end of this before I share it. In the meantime, it's like Groundhog's Day. We've been saying the same thing over and over and over again. Clouds and chances for flurries. And that's what that forecast is right now. Temperatures are into the mid-20s, so you will want to make sure that you grab a jacket as you begin to head out the door. We're going to be watching high-resolution Doppler for those chances for flurries as folks begin to head home later on this afternoon. I do not suspect that to be a big deal at all. But when it comes to the 3 things to know, we are cloudy still. We're going to see more flurry chances as well, but that sunshine does return. The question is when. Keely, I have that answer coming up in about 10 to 15 minutes.
All right, Chris. Well, I am looking forward to that. Madison police say a woman was arrested for threatening to shoot a convenience store clerk and stealing cigarettes. It happened at the Quick Trip on Stoughton Road around 1 this morning. Officers say 55-year-old Yolanda Bell is accused of pushing past a clerk and stealing cigarettes before threatening to shoot that clerk. Officers said Bell crashed her vehicle after a short pursuit and was arrested as she tried to run from the scene. A plane evacuating U.S. citizens from Wuhan, China has landed at a military base in Southern California. The city they left is ground zero for the coronavirus outbreak, and now some airlines are canceling flights to and from China. The 201 passengers are U.S. diplomats or U.S. citizens considered at risk for contracting the deadly coronavirus. Government health officials say they are being screened for signs and symptoms of the respiratory illness that's killed at least 132 people, most of them in China.
They were monitored throughout the flight, and in Anchorage, the passengers were screened twice more and were approved to continue on to California by the CDC.
The Trump administration is now reportedly considering whether to suspend all U.S. flights to and from mainland China. Some major airlines, including British Airways, have canceled all flights to China. Despite all the hype around coronavirus right now, there has been a recent spike in local flu cases. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention estimates that there has been 15 million cases of the flu this flu season. And according to the latest data, Wisconsin is considered one of 34 states with a high number of influenza-like illnesses in just the last week. The number of coronavirus cases in the state, that's at 0. Still, though, Public Health Madison and Dane County say they are preparing for the possibility of a coronavirus locally.
So we're working with our healthcare partners and other health departments around us to make sure that we're monitoring for any potential cases of coronavirus. And then if there were to be a risk or something that we're concerned about, to make sure we're responding to that.
The biggest risk of you getting the coronavirus is international travel. If you want to protect yourself from the flu, however, there are some more tangible things you can do. Get the vaccine, use good hand hygiene, and if a family member is sick with the flu, be sure to keep them in a separate room. Investigators are now taking a closer look at video of Kobe Bryant's chopper just minutes before it went down. In its final 12 seconds of flight, the helicopter banked left and abruptly descended, falling at up to 5,000 feet per minute. Its last recorded speed was at 184 miles an hour. The NTSB says it has wrapped up its investigation at the crash site. A preliminary report will be released in about 10 days. A public memorial service to honor Bryant, his 13-year-old daughter Gianna, and the 7 other victims is being planned right now. The Pentagon says the number of service members who suffered traumatic brain injuries from Iran's missile attack on an Iraqi airbase earlier this month has increased. 3 weeks ago, President Trump claimed no American service members were killed or injured. Days after the attack, the military said 11 service members were hurt. And a week ago, the Pentagon raised that number to 34. And now officials reveal a total of 50 U.S. service members suffered traumatic brain injuries. At least 31 of the 50 injured service members have now returned to duty. President Donald Trump has signed into law a major rewrite of the rules of trade with Canada and Mexico. Trump says that agreement encouraged factories to leave the United States and relocate south of the border to take advantage of low-wage Mexican labor. He says the new deal with Canada and Mexico will keep jobs, wealth, and growth in America. Experts say the impact will be modest, given that Canada and Mexico already represent the top 2 export markets for U.S. goods. And senators acting as jurors in the impeachment trial of President Trump get a chance to ask questions today. Those questions will be submitted in writing over the next 2 days. Time Republican leaders will use to trace and close ranks against calling any witnesses. While a handful of Republicans have indicated they're open to new testimony, it will take a total of 4 joining a vote with Democrats to make it actually happen.
There have been a lot of discussions, but I have no idea how the votes are going to fall.
It's an uphill fight, as I've always said, but the public is on our side, and truth, above all, is on our side.
If new witnesses are allowed, Republicans want Hunter Biden to explain how he got a job on the border of a Ukrainian energy company. Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and other Democrats say Joe and Hunter Biden aren't relevant to the impeachment case. A vote on witnesses is expected Friday. The impeachment trial for President Trump continues as the questioning period for senators will begin today. Questions will alternate between the majority and minority sides for up to 8 hours per session. CBS will have a special report right after our shortened noon newscast. And another headliner for Summerfest has been announced. Country artist Chris Stapleton will headline at the American Family Insurance Amphitheater on June 30th. Sheryl Crow will be a special guest for Stapleton. Other headliners for the world's largest music festival include Justin Bieber, Luke Bryan, Dave Matthews Band, and Halsey. Tickets will go on sale next Friday at 10 a.m. Well, time right now, 12:09. Ahead on News 3 Now at noon, a gloomy Wednesday across south central Wisconsin. Meteorologist Chris Reese has a look at your first forecast right after the break.
Well, here's our weather setup right now. We do have high pressure remaining in control for us, but the clouds still are around here. And we're going to deal with those clouds at least through the rest of this week. We have a chance for flurries coming in this afternoon. The reason for that, there's a little storm system just to our south, and a lot of that is going to be staying to our south as the storm system continues to weaken. But we could be clipped by the northern edge of that, and that's why we have that flurry chance in the picture as we move into the afternoon. But just watch the past couple of hours and how the system has truly lost all of the energy associated with it, and it's begun to fall apart. In the meantime, high resolution Doppler gives us a clean sweep right now, so if you are headed out for lunch, I do not believe you have any snow to worry about out there. Still take it easy, of course. Be careful as you're on the roadways, but I think the biggest thing you're going to need is a jacket. Those temperatures are into the mid-20s. We're seeing those winds out of the east and northeast at about 3 miles per hour. 28 in Janesville right now, same for Mineral Point. And we'll see our temperatures warm a couple more degrees as we move through the afternoon. Look for those highs right around 28 degrees, and you can see that chance of a couple flurries showing up in spots. But as we move through the evening, we really do turn that flurry chance off. We're going to cool down towards 18 tonight, so make sure you have the jackets prepared for tomorrow morning as you begin to head out. You also may need to get the ice scraper out for any cars that are sitting out there just because of how cold things will get. We'll see those highs right around 30 tomorrow. Once again, the cloud cover is going to stick around, and then we'll watch another flurry chance as we move into the morning hours on Friday. Once again, it's not going to be a big deal, but we've seen the clouds, we've seen the flurries around for some time. But watch how our pattern begins to shake up just a little bit. We've been in this chilly air for quite some time. That chilly air begins to move towards the north and east. Milder air begins to develop back towards the west, and by the time we get you towards Sunday, we get nudged in by this milder air. What's also going to happen with those milder temperatures is we are going to see some sunshine by the time we move you towards Sunday, but that is ahead of another, perhaps bigger push of some colder air. That may have a storm system along it, so we're going to be watching that pattern as we go through the week ahead. But watch the temperatures through the next 10 days. Our average high is 27 right now. We're going to be in the low 40s for Sunday and Monday, and that will be coupled with some sunshine. So can I get someone to say the word melting? Because that's what we're going to see on those 2 days with the snowpack that's out there. But then we do have a chance to potentially add to it. We're watching some snow chances by the time we get you towards Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, right when temperatures come right back down. But hey, we do have a day of sunshine in that forecast. It is Groundhog's Day, nonetheless. That's going to be Sunday. We'll even see some sunshine early Monday before that rain moves in Monday afternoon, going over to some snow Monday night into Tuesday. And then we'll see those temperatures back down to where they typically would be this time of the year. But when we haven't seen the sun in so long, Keely, I think folks are going to be super excited to see sunshine combined with the warmer temperatures.
All right, Chris, I'll say it for you, melting.
All right. Thank you.
That's what you wanted me to say. I'm looking forward to the sun. Well, thank you so much. And senators are acting as jurors in the impeachment trial of President Trump right now, getting a chance to ask questions today. We'll take you back to Washington, where CBS has that special report.
Chief Justice.